No,
you know what? One day I should have everybody just.
Can't be too careful, though, those weirdos out there.
There's the Warner Brothers of the Sideshow.
Oh, gotta ask yourself, do I feel lucky?
Marvel Legends Gauntlet, the Nano Gauntlet.
Oh, wow.
Wow, that's cool.
That is... What's up, guys, and welcome to another Friday night of Collectors Assemble live here on Toy Quest 101. I'm pretty pumped up, guys, because we have another banger for you guys. Another episode with some of the X-Men 97 cast. As you guys been following us, you know, we've had a lot of them on, graciously enough. I'm so humbled, right? A lot of old friends, a lot of new friends. And the good thing about this episode, just like the Magneto episode, is that the season is done. So we get to talk about all of it, which is cool with no spoilers. But as you guys know, little ground rules, as always, you know that we cannot speak about things that might lead into future talks of the second or third season. We don't want any spoilers. And of course, we don't want our guests to get in any type of trouble because we love them. So without further ado, we do have a short panel today. We don't have 20 people on like we normally do, just because there's a lot of things going on out there with cons and other things. But still, it's going to be a great show. Thank you guys for joining us live. And for those on the replay, smash that like button. And yeah, we have two amazing actors, obviously, amazing voice actors, and amazing people. I mean, I follow both of them on Instagram. Obviously, you know, I talk a lot with some of the other cast members, and they're obviously always doing stuff together. And I'm just really excited because today we have Nightcrawler and Jubilee on with us. That's right. We have Adrian Hough and Holly Chou with us as well, the two voice actors that we have today. But without further ado, let's get to our panel members real quick. And let me start with
Mr.
What's up, my guy? How are you?
What's going on?
Nothing much, man. I'm excited for this. It's a little quiet. Let me put my music on. I always forget the music.
Here we go. Now we're rolling.
My little elevator music. But what's up, man? Thank you for jumping on with us tonight.
Thank you for having me. Can't wait.
Of course, bro. We got Nightcrawler. We got Jubilee. I'm excited. You know, I always try to get like a original cast member and a new cast member. I don't know if you guys noticed. I've been doing that on purpose, just because we get like, you know, both views from, sides, you know what I mean? Yeah, I love it. So excited for that. Let's see who else we got today. We have our artist, Sean Carlson, in the building. What's up, Sean?
What's going on, guys? Happy to be here as a lifelong, he's my number one guy, a lifelong Nightcrawler fan.
I did not know that.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. We listen, in the animated series, us Nightcrawler fans, we had, I think it was 3 episodes that had to satiate us back in the original series, and now he's a full-fledged permanent member of the team. Couldn't be happier. Sorry it had to come at the expense of Gambit, but it is what it is.
I know. What an episode. We'll talk about that episode later on too, because Nightcrawler was in it, for the Genosha episode. What an episode, man. Just what an episode, right?
Yeah, right.
Let's see who else we got here. As always, the man behind the wheel, Josh McCoy Culture in the building. What's up, man?
What's up, brother? Happy to be here as always. Excited for 2 new guests that's joining us tonight. It's going to be a good show.
All right.
And my camera's apparently messing up.
Is it? No, it looks good.
Anthony, I got a question. What is moving behind your Deadpool blanket? Something? Is there like a cat back there or something?
Yeah, I see that too.
Oh, no. I have a window back here and I have another window here. So I got the breeze coming in.
Oh, bro.
Yeah.
That's like a ghost or something.
You got ghosts.
Yeah.
Dude.
You know, they found Venom in Las Vegas. Did you see that? Anybody saw that?
No.
They found somebody videoed some black substance moving on like a Vegas sign, and everybody was saying it was Venom.
Oh yeah, no, that was CGI. I saw that.
Was it? All right. See, can't believe everything.
All right.
John
good for everybody.
Let me just wish it was Venom, man. Can I just wish that?
All right. Sorry, aliens are real. Sorry.
All right, guys. So listen, I'm gonna introduce our guest really quickly. First and foremost, I want to introduce one who's been highly requested. I think he's one of the most highly requested ones we've gotten so far. She better be here. Let me see. Is she here? Arilis. Arilis is here, and Danny Lee. Arilis is a huge Nightcrawler fan. The first time she heard of us, talking about that we're gonna have the X-Men animated cast on from the beginning, she was like, "You better get Nightcrawler on." So without further ado, my friends, Adrian Hough. What's up, brother? Thank you so much, my friend.
Meine Freunde. Hi, how are you?
Oh, nice.
Oh, I love it. I love it, man. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule and your life for being on with us. And again, congratulations on reprising your role as Nightcrawler, man. You have been absolutely fantastic in the new X-Men 97, man. And I appreciate you being on.
Thank you so much. It's great to be back. It's crazy.
I know.
2021 bingo card, I got to tell you.
Word. All right. My next guest, she's one of the newer cast members to join the X-Men team, and she is amazing. I have seen her do some things with Guy. I've seen her on her social media, and she's just an interesting person. I cannot wait to talk to her. She absolutely killed the role as Jubilee, and as you guys know, Jubilee is taking on more stuff, with the X-Men 97 versus when she was in X-Men 92. So she's been doing a phenomenal job. Ladies and gentlemen, Holly Chou. How are you?
Hello. I'm good. How are you?
With her fireworks. Look at that. I love it. All right. So let's get this show on the road. I'll get to everybody in the chats momentarily, but we're going to bounce back between both of you, right? With questions. And very simple questions, but obviously, first and foremost, I want to talk to Nightcrawler first. I'm going to talk to Adrian. So, Adrian, as Sean kind of mentioned, Nightcrawler was introduced to us in X-Men 92, right? And I think it was like 2 episodes, if I'm not mistaken. 2 episodes, man. He was introduced as like a monk in an Austrian monastery, which, by the way, is one of my favorite episodes. And Cal Dodd's. When we had Cal Dodd on, he quoted a bunch of lines, both his and yours, believe it or not. And it's one of his favorites, near to his heart. But my question is, did you ever think that people were going to love the character so much after only 2 episodes? And now being back as part of the main roster for X-Men 97, how does it feel to be back, man?
Well, I mean, first of all, it was my very first animated audition.
Oh,
and I was known in the small town of Toronto. I mean, I'd spent 10 years in the UK, and I gathered a bunch of dialects, and I was known as the accent guy. And so I'd done a few voiceovers here and there, but then my agent joined forces with a voice agent, and then said, "Hey," and who said, "Do you have anyone who can do a German accent? They're looking for this cartoon character who's German." And I went, "Yeah, I can do a German accent. I mean, I played lots of Germans in lots of ways, you see." And but they just didn't want, and somebody reminded me of this recently, that they didn't want Colonel Klink from like
okay. Oh, that's great.
So
okay.
And so then so I go in there, and it's just Project X, and we didn't have the internet then, so we didn't know, Project X. Okay, that looks interesting. And then I saw this really heartfelt, spiritual script, and I just remember it, whatever I was going through at the time, and I just altered the German accent a little bit and gave him a bit more sort of soulfulness. And I saw it, and I just and I remember going into the little booth, and this great big glass, divider, and there's like Dan Hennessy, who was the voice director. He had this like Robert Plant hair, and he's just sitting down. This is very weird. And he goes, "Okay, would you like to try one?" And I went, "Okay." So I don't remember what happened in between the beginning and the end, but it was that whole Nightcrawler episode. And that whole scene with look in your heart, Herr Logan, and that whole bit. And I just remember it just took off, and I just sort of let the script go through me, and then I finished, and there's silence, and I looked up, and there's Dan in the booth. He's going, he's a very passionate guy. Yeah. And he goes, do you want to do it again? Okay. And that was it. I did 2 takes. And the first one really, I think, was the kicker. I just remember like feeling that wonderful actor feeling of this is just taking off. And the next thing I know, I'm in a booth with Norm Spencer and then Cal Dodd on my one side and Laura Zan on the other.
Wow.
I'm going, okay, and so I'm basically learning how to do animated booth acting with Cal Dodd, who's like physicalizing. He goes like, listen here, bub, and he's like, you can see the knives coming out of his knuckles, and then Lenore, who's just like, brilliant, and Norm, who is, God bless him. He was a real card. So I just got to quickly tell this story. I don't want to go on too long.
No, please feel free. Yes, yeah.
And others, like, he always used to go, is that how you're going to do it? So, and I'd look over at Lenore and just, Anyway, and that was it. And no, we had no idea. We didn't have the internet telling us how amazing it was or how much they loved it or whatever. So, and then I came back for the Bloodlines episode. I don't know.
That's what it was. Yeah.
And so it was like 2 days in the studio for me. And then people would say, oh yeah, Nightcrawler is such a fan favorite. And I go, yeah, really? Okay, I believe it. Right? You're saying that.
He is.
He really is. And it's crazy to me because obviously after talking with the rest of the cast members and all that, you guys didn't really know the amount of fandom there was for X-Men because apparently there was like, you guys didn't get the letters and, obviously there was no social media back then either. So for me, it's very interesting to see you guys living your life out now, how it should have been back then. You know what I mean? So like, even though you guys are the OGs of the X-Men, I feel like it's almost brand new to you guys because now you got social media, you got the cons, you got fan interaction like crazy, right? Like sometimes a little bit more than what one would ask for. But man, listen, you my friend have done a phenomenal job. Obviously the character has grown on a lot of people, obviously Sean, and really quickly I was just speaking about her, Arilis. Thank you so much. She gave us a $20 super chat. You didn't even have to do that.
Wow.
But thank you. She is like your biggest fan. So I don't know, maybe later on I'll have you hopefully say something, a line or something for her. But she requested you a million times over, and this show is definitely for her and the rest of the Nightcrawler fans out there. But Arilis, thank you so much. Appreciate you. I'm glad she's here. I wish she would just jump on the show with us, but she's shy. She's shy.
I gotta say, send her a link. Tell her to jump on.
I'm shy too. What can I say?
But thank you so much, Arilis. So real quick, Holly, thank you for jumping on with us.
Sure.
So my question for you is, how is it for you jumping into this project being new? And were you a fan of the X-Men prior to jumping on, which I kind of feel like I know the answer, but talk to me about you jumping onto this project, X-Men 97.
Yeah, so like AJ's talked about and like Isaac's talked about, I think he was a fan too, but the three of us, I think, have been the most vocal about having grown up watching this show, and not just, oh yeah, I'm a fan of it. I was a fan of it among the other things that I was a fan of. Like, this was my favorite thing. I was quite obsessed. Actually, I should have prepared a little bit. I have my I went through my parents' storage a while back, but I have my old sticker books, like Sanrio sticker books from like 1996, and I have X-Men stickers in there from, when you'd put a quarter in the machine and it would slip, pop out with the card. Yeah, and there's a picture that's gone around of me dressed as Storm for like Halloween 1994 or something like that.
Really?
I have not met Alison Seeley Smith yet. I saw that she's done the show, but I guess I'll meet her at SDCC maybe. But
you haven't met her yet?
No, I've only met, of the original cast, I have met Lenore, who's spending some time in LA now, and I've met Adrian because he's come for some of the events, but I mean, I didn't. So Chris Britton and maybe a couple were here, a couple more were here for. Oh, and I met Allison Court, but a couple of others were here for the fan event that was sort of on the premiere date, and I didn't. That whole event was a bit of chaos, so we didn't actually get to be introduced or meet everybody in turn. So I'm still, and then Allison Seeley Smith and I don't think George Buza was there, but yeah, I'm still waiting to meet some of my favorites.
Well, funny story is, I don't know if you know this, surprise to us because we didn't know, we actually through this show officially introduced for the first time a couple of you guys together. So when we had who do we have? Was it AJ and George Buza? They've never met before ever. George couldn't make it to the premiere, so that was the first time them kind of being together on the same show and talking, and I let them exchange information because George is like off the grid, right? But yeah, we need to fix that. I told him we need to fix that with him, but he's such an awesome guy. And then Allison and Isaac never knew each other either, and they were on the show together. So I thought that was crazy. Like,
that was fun,
and I know we talked about some of that stuff a little bit before the show, but man, I really hope all of you guys together one day,
we hope so too.
I mean, it needs to happen. It needs to happen. It really does.
Like, it doesn't happen by itself. It doesn't happen by nature. So, even the Canadians that came to town for the fan event, like, that was out of pocket. So it was really if they could get themselves here, unless a situation is created where like the powers that be put us together, we're really never going to have, occasion to come across each other's paths. There was one giant Zoom sort of the day of the finale drop, but it was Zoom, and like you couldn't, it was being selective about what voices it would pick up. So it's like it's again too much chaos. You really couldn't interact. So I was on the same Zoom call as Allison Seeley Smith and George Buza and whoever, and but did we meet? Not really.
Well, we got to make that happen. Somebody out there in the universe, if you're watching, make this happen. Get these guys all together for the fans and for them as well. But
Lenore would sometimes come to New York. I would see on her social media when I was still. So I just moved back to LA, but I was living in New York for like 15 years, and I would see that she would be in New York, and we hadn't had anything to do with each other. And in fact, I wasn't able to confirm my participation yet because it hadn't been announced anywhere. So I wanted to reach out and be like, "Hi, I'm on the show now. Can we hang out?" But first of all, I wasn't sure if it was like if I was allowed to say that I was on the show at all, even to another cast member. Like I don't know. So I just sort of internet social media stalked her, but I did not meet her until actually the day of the fan event. Earlier that day, we did an interview with IGN, and so when I showed up at Studio There was the first time I met Cal and Lenore and cried, but they get that a lot. It's fine.
Lenore is a sweetheart. I love Lenore, and she just has like a presence to her, right? Like she has like this, like, I don't know, like these vibes. Like even if you don't talk, if you just watch her, she's just like so like she's awesome. She's a doll. We love her to death here too. And Cal's a good friend of our show, and he's awesome too. So but yeah, we got to make that happen. Somebody down the road, something's got to happen. But so yes, so thank you for doing the role of Jubilee. You've been freaking awesome. You've killed it. I know we had let me put this up real quick one more time. We had this little shot here of Jubilee and her dance moves with Sunspot, who Guy Augustini, a good friend of ours too, who's been on the show before. I talk to him almost all the time. There's a little bit of a love-hate there with Jubilee and Sunspot, and there's like a character, almost like a switch out between you guys, because I feel like Sunspot now is what Jubilee was, in the original X-Men animated series, but it allowed the character Jubilee to develop more, and we got to showcase her powers, her abilities. She had, episodes on her own, which we'll talk about a little later, but you have absolutely been killing the role of Jubilee, so congratulations.
Thanks so much. Yeah, absolutely. I think that's deliberate that she was the audience surrogate in the original series, and now she gets to grow up a bit and fulfill that role for somebody else. And if you'll notice, like, I think it's cool that they are they're not simply repeating the same mechanism, you know. It's not like a kid character that's come in. It is fresh eyes, but they're not infantilizing Roberta, you know.
No, they're not. Yep, absolutely.
Oh, he froze.
I got a question from P-Rock. I love how P-Rock has more questions at a... Oh, did I freeze?
Yep.
No.
You're back.
For a second. You're good.
Am I back?
Yeah,
you're back.
Okay, I'm sorry. I don't know what part you didn't hear, but we have a question
P-Rock
from
has questions.
P-Rock in the... Oh yeah, P-Rock has more questions in the chats than he does when he's on the actual panel, which is funny. But he asked, "Did you actually have some gum in your mouth when you did any of the lines for Jubilee?"
Nah, I would have to go back and see if there's anything that actually portrays her talking when she has gum in her mouth. But you know, even if there were anything scripted, I mean, it's that Olivier thing, right? Why don't you try acting? So I would, even when you're, you know, it's not that useful from a technical, practical standpoint to have anything in your mouth when you're pretending to have something in your mouth. So like, if you have to pretend like, oh, my character takes a big bite of a sandwich, so I guess I'll do that.
That's awesome. That's funny. So now I'm gonna go back to Adrian. Adrian, my question for you is: how much different is it from what it was when it was what is it, 30 years ago? Are we at 30 already? No, we're past 30.
Yeah,
we're a little bit past 30, right?
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
It was a long time. How much different is it now, especially like, you know, knowing that the fans love you and you're getting all these fan interactions, the Comic-Cons, you're doing interviews like this, the social media aspect of it. I know it's a lot different for you now, but talk to us about like the main difference between what it was before and now, and how you're enjoying it, what you're not enjoying. Let us know.
I won't tell you what I'm not enjoying. I'm enjoying all.
A list of all your grievances.
This is all my grievances. Oh my God, it's big screen me. Okay. Originally he was just like this very soulful character, and the wonderful thing about coming in on the Genosha episode is that there's that whole scene where he's bamfing in and out of it, and I had to get that direction from Meredith, our voice director, on it, because I was like, meine Freunde, and I'm like, I'm trying to make sense of this. It's my first episode and I don't want to mess it up because, you know, God, they brought him in from years ago and he's not. Anyway, so Meredith just said, oh, he's bamfing in and out, and it went, okay. So I just kind of did it like a lot of different like places that he was, and it was just wonderful to kind of play the playfulness of him, and the joy of him, and you know, the wit. And all this other side of him, which is, you know, in the comics, and that I really didn't get to play before. And then of course he goes right back to
oh my God, I know.
Yeah, but what happened to the Gambit? So, and you know, where I'm really comfortable in that kind of the sad Nightcrawler. So certainly the fan response has been mind-boggling, and you know, I have attended a couple of cons, and actually the first time I saw, you know, Allison and Lenore and Cal and George was the very first con we did about a month or so before the show came out. So it was a little slow. I mean, of course, everyone's Lenore and everyone's Cal. But so it was kind of this first time I'd seen them in like 25 years. And I was like, this is like old home week. And I mean, I've known Lenore's work and their work for, you know, and Lenore's work, especially like on camera, in theater for years. So it was just a wonderful kind of homecoming. And yeah, but the fan reaction has been very, very nice. And it's sometimes overwhelming, because I mean, I live on an island in the Pacific Northwest, and you know, I have little farmers markets, and I garden, and
it's very Nightcrawler.
Yeah. Real method acting.
I do mostly on camera work, and I've sort of prided myself in a 40-year career where I get to play really cool roles, and then get to come to my little quiet life. So, I mean, I'm adapting on that Myers-Briggs scale, with the I sort of hover between 51% one and 51% the other, and so I turn on the outgoing, and then after a convention weekend, I'll be like, I just want to crawl under a tree. And, but I do love it, and I do appreciate it, and I love the new cast. And whenever I'm in Los Angeles or in any of the events, I seek them out, to say, hey, I just want to tell you how great you're doing. Holly is doing amazing. Matthew, and I was fairly good friends with David Hemblin, if anybody was. He was this wonderful actor, vague curmudgeon, and I think Matthew is absolutely as Magneto.
Matthew killed it. He was on our show. Was it last week, guys? Yeah, last week.
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. Sorry, and he was so good, so good.
And he's like 11 feet tall.
Yeah.
Is he really that big?
Oh, really?
Oh, wow.
He is very tall.
Yeah.
And his hair adds another couple inches.
Nah, he's phenomenal. But yeah, everybody's been doing great. I mean, the response from just everybody, old school, new school. I grew up as a kid watching X-Men. Now my daughter is watching both, the original series and the new series. And it just everything has been everybody who's been working. When the first episode started coming out, I was on here screaming, whose idea was it to have Cyclops do a superhero landing using his optic? Whose idea was it? They need a raise. I was flipping out. Some of the scenes and stuff are crazy. And of course, the writing is crazy, and the acting. I mean, I know we touched a little bit on episode 5, and how Nightcrawler comes in, kind of you see that other side of him, right? You see that that playful side versus that humble side, that you see, back when he was in the monastery and talking to Logan and spiritual. And then obviously you see him being the almost the pastor at the funeral, right?
Yeah.
And then of course Lenore's performance, AJ's performance in that episode, which I was literally a roller coaster ride for a lot of us. And it just, you guys have been absolutely killing your roles. And what I like that they're doing is that they're giving an opportunity for every single character to have that shine, and you guys are just taking advantage of that shine and absolutely killing it. So really good there. I'm gonna bounce that question to Holly as well. Holly, how has it been for you going to the Comic-Cons and social media now, which is kind of a new thing for you a little bit? For
Well, first of all, the cons, I actually haven't done any as a thing. No, I went to WonderCon because there was the panel, but I was basically just there all weekend as a consumer. I was buying stuff at Artist Alley and checking stuff out. But I have my first signing event June 15th, and so that's going to be my first. I kind of feel I do well, sort of like Adrian said, when there are designated pockets, if I'm prepared for it and I know it's coming and I know what's expected of me, I am excited to do it and I'm looking forward to doing it. It's when I'm in a different context, I'm at, my niece's birthday party, and if not that this has happened yet, but it's more oh, I'm we're here to enjoy the a premiere party, and then it's I gotta go where I was talking. Okay. Then it's a little nebulous, and I'm I don't know what my function is here. But if it's very clear, a designated, this is an event specifically for me to get some FaceTime with some fans, I'm so looking forward to that. I feel the interwebs are a little nebulous in that way too, of am I I'm using it really just to sort of announce appearances and stuff like that, maybe occasionally to shout out somebody's project or something like that, but it becomes so I feel like there's not a dividing line, or there's an arbitrary dividing line between like, okay, when am I done with internet now? Because I have work to do. It's like, you know, oh, I got on just to check messages, and then 7 hours later, it's like, it's dark now, and I didn't do any of my work. So, you know, I think it's too easy for that. And I don't know if it's just the way that my own brain, you know, sort of is structured, but it's really too easy to fall down that rabbit hole. So I like to sort of just reserve my time for myself, whether that's because I'm busy preparing for auditions or getting ready to do con stuff, or like, you know, sending emails, doing, you know, the hustle and working, or just because I want to like lie down and you know, pet a dog.
But hey, that's important though. Like, you know, work-life balance is important. And you know, I think take it from me, I'm always on the internet or on my phone because of what I do, and it's a love-hate, because I want to, like you said, sometimes you'll be on there and then all of a sudden you're like, what the heck? What just happened, right?
It's sort of like, what is my obligation to, you know, and people will argue that like, well, it's social media. It's very low stakes. That's the beauty of it, is that you can dip in and out. But it's kind of, you know, you feel shitty sort of being like, well, I agree to do this guy's thing, but not this thing. And I didn't see this thing. And like, I just don't have time to schedule this thing. And I'm not going to go too far out of my way to like try to make this thing happen. So then you just end up, it's just all these opportunities for you to feel bad, you know?
Right.
Whereas like, if there's a day of like, listen, you guys, this day I'm coming to your town, just let's hang out there, you know?
Yeah.
That's a lot easier for me.
You don't want to disappoint people. I think that's not like that it's so nice to get the attention, but at a certain point you go, I've only got like so many brain cells operating right now.
Yeah, you don't want to let anybody down, and you don't want to be put in a position to have to turn people down, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where I don't think, and this is just from me, I don't think you can make everybody happy as much as you try to, right? So as long as you're doing it with good faith and a good heart, and you know, and obviously there's going to be things that you're going to be able to do and not be able to do, you know? Like for example, for us, like I'm super grateful I had almost everybody from the cast, but I didn't get everybody, you know? And I had people in the past from the X-Men animated series be on that couldn't be on this time around. And, you know, I understand how that works, but we certainly appreciate you coming on. And one of the reasons why I wanted you on specifically was because I want you to get more, you know, media out there, and for people to recognize who you are, and to get you more, you know, in the limelight, and eventually get you to more cons, because I think a lot of people want that. Usually we have Andrew on, who he couldn't be on today because he's too busy in Las Vegas by a pool right now. But poor thing, right? Living the life. I should pull up his picture. You should see his picture. He's all GQ'd up. But Andrew,
full three-piece suit.
I'm telling you, he's such a great guy. Yeah. But Andrew and his wife are out there, full piece three-piece suit. I mean, the guy looks like he just did an album cover. But he has this huge like cassette. It's almost like a cassette from the X-Men, like the old school one, but it's like a canvas.
Yeah.
And he's had almost everybody signed it, and there's a few people he hasn't signed it, haven't signed it, which I think, Holly, I think you're one of them. And for like people like that, like they want to see you at the cons. They want more.
I
want
to see them too. Let's, you know, do that. I guess it's sort of like, I might be the same way. It might just be my own social anxiety, because I feel like if I'm, you know, if I like schedule coffee with my friend, then like, great, I can't wait to see, you know, whoever, my buddy or whatever. But if it's sort of like, you know, I'm at the bookstore and I'm making myself out to be like a, you know, I hang out in bookstores. If I'm whatever,
ain't nothing wrong with that,
at a donut shop, and then my buddy, you know, I run into my buddy. It's like, oh great, I'm glad to see you. But like, I think I will be very frazzled if they're like suddenly like, oh yeah, let's just go hang out now. I wasn't doing that right now. I don't not want to do that, but let's plan to do that, you know?
All right.
I could definitely relate to that. I'm the same exact way.
Yeah.
One of the things I joke about is that like right now we're like, oh yes, we're so happy, like, and we're all nice to each other. And I go, give us a couple of seasons.
Right. Do a couple of cons together and see how we are when we're in like Poughkeepsie and stuck there.
I know.
Oh, wow.
No shade to Poughkeepsie. I'd love to go to Poughkeepsie.
Well, listen, we know that we already know that we're on season 3, right? Apparently, supposedly we're We're for
I don't know
season
if
3.
is that official?
Thought that was
I
official.
believe that has been. I don't think they've said
It's been
what-
discussed.
It's been discussed.
It's been
out there.
greenlit. I don't think they've put out what's been filmed, what hasn't, and obviously, not pushing you guys to reveal anything. But yes, I believe season 3 has officially been announced.
But we want more. That's not enough. So if that were true, we want more, guys. So just whoever needs to hear it, who's watching, we need more. So
one thing about being vaguely forgetful for me is that, like, in the room, I'd see the lines and they're all there. At the end of the episode, I dump the files, so people ask me questions, and I go, I really don't remember.
Yeah.
Which is great because we sign these NDAs where we have to, our left kidney and our firstborn child. So it actually works very well. So good. Did I record any of that? I can't remember.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
That's kind of the best of both worlds, though, because then you also, while creating a part of the show, you also get to watch it with fresh eyes as a fan.
Yeah.
So you're getting the best of both.
Yeah. Whatever little bit that. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, we do prelay too. So like we'll just see the black and white words, and then we kind of imagine, play with the sounds and the emotions. And then so when we get to see it, it's like,
yeah.
It's got to be totally different.
The little that we get to see in sessions will blow us away, but then it's not the finished product. So and we don't see that ahead of time. People are like, oh yeah, you already know what's going to happen. Like, I don't know that I do, I'm waiting till midnight on Tuesday, the same as everybody else. So
how is it when you see the final episode, or when you're watching with the fans? Like, are you just as surprised as us? Are you like looking for reactions? Like how is that for you? I'll start with Holly first.
Well, as an actor, first of all, like part of the reason that you have to learn to let go of your stuff as soon as you leave the session is so that you don't spiral, right? Because it's too easy to be like, I should have said it this way, or like, I should have thought of that, in the thing. You gotta. I did the thing. Go have a soda, relax, like forget about it. It's not up to you. I don't know that it ever was, but like, they wouldn't let you out of the room if they didn't have what they wanted. So like, you have to trust them and let that go. And in particular, you can't always trust, honestly, that you're with people that aren't going to make you look stupid, because sometimes they will. But with this team, 100% you can. They have made good on that all up and down, and it's like, okay, they're not going to let me look stupid, or like I don't know what I'm doing. So, trust that when they say like, okay, good, we have it, then they have it. But what was the beginning of this question?
What's it like?
Watching it. At the fan
time,
event, I was sitting between my brother, who watched this with me growing up, and two of my best friends from college who are fans themselves, and I'm sitting there, and my two friends are they're very happy for me, but they too would all, if it sucked, they would tell me, and I would tell them, I would have warned them. But so they're watching it for the first time, and I just keep hearing my friend Alex go, awesome. Awesome. And like, I'm watching it, and I'd be like, for the things that I did know were happening, but like in in text on the page, I could not have predicted how awesome it would be in front of us, right? So I'm like, whoa! When I got to see stuff for episode 4, I was like, the little that I got to see was like, who designed these backgrounds? Who painted this? Who colored? Raise immediately. But then even when you do get to see it, again, stuff has changed in production. It's it is this gift that you get to see this amazing show just like everybody else, but you also get to be a part of it.
Cool.
I was
Listen,
way back from
if I could be a fly on the wall, or be at the cantina with you guys I wouldn't even watch the show. I would literally just focus in on just your guys' reactions. And that goes with anybody that has been on the show before, because I would love to see how you react to the reactions, you know what I mean, of people loving it, because like I said, I've been saying it the entire show, you guys have been killing it. And you got fans out there like Arch, who's in the comment section, for you two that might not know, we unbox and do statues here of comic book related stuff. And we won a quarter scale Jubilee statue. It's a statue that we haven't seen and we want that. So we got Jubilee fans in the house for sure. But Adrian, how about you? How's that been like watching the final product? Like, for example, the Genosha episode, like how was that? Were you glued to the TV? Were you like looking for reactions? How was that for you?
Well, I mean, I watched it at home.
Okay.
Alone. My son didn't even want to watch it. I saw it like nobody was around. I just turned it on. But actually, the one episode, and I've told this story before. The one episode, so I just got to turn. I've noticed that the caps in here are this way, so I should just do that.
I like it. I like it.
So the episode, I think it's 8 when the swords come out. You know,
Yes.
Oh yes.
he's zapping, in and out, taking the Prime Sentinels and taking them into space. I had to go back. Now, one of the cool things, they don't let you leave without getting it right, but they might come up with other ideas, and so they come back and say, "We just need you. Here's a few extra lines. Just change this around." And so I went in to do some ADR on that episode. And like heavy breathing and like grunts and like being hit sort of things, sounds, and so I'm like, they just sort of showed me these little bits, and I went, wow, the animation's really cool, but tiny little bit, and they went, oh, you haven't seen any yet. And I went, no.
Oh, wow.
And so they showed me that whole section.
Wow.
I just remember, like, I my breath was taken away, and I think I even had like a little tear. And I was like, I had my hand on my heart, and I was, oh my God, it's coming back. It's for real. It's amazing. And I just at that moment, I sort of, because we're over Zoom, and I sort of just felt this kind of energy coming through the Zoom screen because they were so quiet, and they were looking at me through the screen. Like, and so there's this wonderful moment of their Nightcrawler was enjoying their work, and made the animators and the directors and the producers just incredible, and the story writers, and it's just incredible. And it was just a wonderful moment of being in this moment with some incredibly talented, wonderful creators, and just having this wonderful playground, wonderful sandbox to play in. And I love the new cast, Holly and Guy and Ross, and they're just amazing. So there's this sense of this wonderful creative place that we get to play, and talented people. It's such a gift, to a performer.
Yeah, talented fellow cast members, but also, as you say, like every single team member on this show from the top down is a fan and is also like insanely talented. You were showing earlier the Nightcrawler Jubilee sort of combo in the Bastion fight, and like that alone, right? How many? I think Chase Conley, I think he storyboarded it. I mean, it feels so bad if it wasn't him, but I think Jeremy Polgar like animated, this section of it and that section of it. And I think, storyboarders might work on each other's stuff just to refine things later. They come up with stuff later, and then somebody else execute. And then, every single single frame of it has 20 people easily, hundreds of people. Their hands are on it,
And you can tell, like you said, Holly, that the people behind it, you guys included, but the little team ups that you see, we saw in the preview of the first episode, Gambit lighting up Wolverine's claws.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell the people behind it have such a great reverence for the X-Men in the original show, because it comes through on the screen like, okay, that's something that like an 11-year-old kid came up with while playing with action figures one day.
And 20 years later,
exactly. And is now in the point where they're writing the show and they're like, I had this idea when I was a little kid, and come hell or high water, it's getting in the show.
Absolutely.
And little moments like that really come through. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, you feel that energetically. You feel it creatively. the number of participants, and I think that's part of why they show us stuff, both because they know we want to see it and it's a treat for us and they get to give us that, but they don't get to share this with many people, right? Like, it's completely embargoed. The only people seeing it are the people who are working on it. So for them to have the pleasure of getting to show it to somebody and have the reaction that they know that they're going to get, I think it's a joy for them too. You're talking about those cool sequences and stuff like that, and that in combination with, I think, the fact that the restrictions are different for now that it's streaming, now that it's a new world, and the censors and standards and practices or whatever it is a little different, and the audience is different, and they're allowed to do much more stuff, and I feel like we the cast members are getting so much love for, like, oh yeah, you're doing great, but as Miguel pointed out earlier, that's only because we're getting the opportunities, these fantastic opportunities that have been written for us and that have been storyboarded for us and stuff like that. Like, first of all, we're getting credit for like fight scenes that, like, that has nothing to do with us. I didn't perform that, like, if there's no grunting or breath sounds, that's all the storyboard or the writer and or the director, right? And the colorists and animators. But so but it's also that, like, people who would complain, in the early one, like, oh man, I hate Cyclops, it's so annoying, or I hate, Jean or whatever. Now, they're getting their due, right? If Jubilee was annoying back in the original series, now she gets to grow up. She's being given the opportunity to do all this cool stuff. So really that's a gift. That's a gift for any performer to get to perform, because we don't have to do stuff that we don't agree with or that we think is stupid, like we only basically, like, what they give us to do is all bangers, no skips,
Yeah, for sure.
Every time I go, so many times I've gone to a session in this last little while where I go, oh, it's only an hour, I've got a few lines here and there, and I get there and I really look at them and I go, oh no, I've got to get emotional. I've got to feel this, I've got to bring it to life, These are not just like funny voices. These are not just voices we do. Like, there's some real emotional quality and grown-up emotional quality to these characters. And like Holly was saying, the development of Jubilee and the development of Rogue. I mean, I texted Lenore at the end of episode 5. Like, as soon as it was over, I was sobbing, and I'd read. Lenore, I've known you for like 30 years. I've watched your brilliant work over all those years, and also her work as a politician. But this is just next level, and congratulations, and I'm so proud of you. Like, as soon as I'd seen it.
Listen, you guys definitely, you bring this feeling to the character. You made them have feelings, right? So like, as a fan at home, you're watching. I did the same thing. I hit up Lenore and I was like, all I said was, wow. I left it at that, because I know she was probably getting bombarded with messages, but like, just everybody just brings this feeling to the character, and it just, like, it's been so good. And I have the clip here. I'm gonna play it real quick because this is one of my favorite clips, and this is for you, Adrian.
Oh yeah.
Why resist the inevitable?
Lady, I got 6 reasons why.
No, mein Freund. 9.
I lost my shit when I heard that. When he brought out the swords and paid homage to the character in the comics, I was standing on my feet, losing my shit, especially with Wolverine tag team. Oh, it was the best thing ever. Look at
the music in this scene is great too.
Oh yeah.
You've probably already heard, but this is Sean Gonka in the blue jacket. This is one of our producers.
Oh yes.
They drew him in, and then he didn't know they were going to do that. He didn't know they were going to bring him in as a cameraman. He didn't know they were going to put him in this sequence, but he requested to have Nightcrawler kick his ass.
Oh, that's awesome. That is awesome.
That's cool.
Listen, hey, put me in anything and kill me off. I'll be happy. So that is awesome. But what a like again, you guys nailed it. Everybody has been a fan of this, and even Sean was saying that, like, everybody, it's almost like they're little kids being like, oh, this has to happen, and just everything together collectively, whether it's the producers, directors, writers, storyboard, the actors, obviously you got, everybody involved, just that chemistry to just get the final product we got, especially in like a scene like that, and or a couple scenes that we're going to watch in a little bit, have just been phenomenal. And like, I get goosebumps. I got goosebumps now, but watching that stuff, when you came out with the swords and said, make that 9. Oh my God. I flipped.
9. I must have done about 10 to 12. Like I'd like repeat the takes. I'll do the line, and then I'll do it again, then I'll do it again, and just sort of see where it sort of lands each time. And then at one point we went, maybe it should, I know it's a pun. And so maybe I should say 9, mein Freund. And then it doesn't quite work that. So I did it that way. And then they just select, right? So I don't know how you work, Holly.
Which is what
you
comedy
just get
is.
it right the first time. That's possible too.
Well, it was great. Like, I think for all the fans, I mean, Kennedy, you being a fan of Nightcrawler too, what did you think about that scene when you saw him come out with the swords, especially paying homage to the comics?
It took me back not just to the classic X-Men books, but to the old Excalibur books.
Excalibur.
Oh my goodness. And it was just like, then I saw that, I was like, okay, there needs to be a statue of Nightcrawler with all 3 swords. I was just like, no.
Oh yeah.
And it was about time because all the previous episodes we've seen of Nightcrawler, he's very humble. We had the playful version, but we never actually got to see him
kick-ass
fight.
Yeah.
And it was just like, to see him whoop ass, it was just like, yes. Finally. It's refreshing for people to see the characters I read growing up, get to see them on the screen. And maybe now they'll be like, all right, you know what, that kicked ass, let me go back and read the books. And hopefully it would, because to this day I still hate Adrian's voice while reading books as Nightcrawler. It's just, that's just the way it is. Very few actors have done that for me, where it's just like I can still hear them talk, but with him it's just like his voice is so specific. It's just, it takes me back.
Soothing. I'll say exactly. It's soothing as hell. I almost feel like, Adrian, you should be doing a nature documentary on Discovery Channel. Because,
but Miguel, the crazy part is Adrian has done other works. Like, I know he's in Assassin's Creed, which I love Assassin's Creed. And I was like looking at it, I was like, wait a minute, the name sounds familiar. And I remembered he was on Sabrina on Netflix.
No shit.
And just, dude. But to hear him do Nightcrawler, it takes me back to that time in the 90s where it's just like,
I know. Look at Arch. Arch is saying, Adrian, do you ever answer unknown phone numbers as Nightcrawler?
No, I don't. But I sometimes will play with them, like, they'll say, "Oh, hi, it's Josie from the other night. How you doing, Diane?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about? You were so drunk." Like I was talking.
Yeah.
But then it's just worth blocking them. They're always trying to get information out of you.
Listen, if I had your talents, I would be everywhere using your skills, no matter what. Calling people, I'll call my mom all the time. It would be great. But here we go.
You got any interactions with any of the live action Nightcrawlers? I know we've had 2 iterations of it, but are there any cool interactions between you 3?
Which you mean, like Alan Cumming, or
Alan Cumming
two
is
who played
one.
him in the live action?
Cody Smith is the other one.
No, I have never met either of those guys, but I think they do a brilliant job. I mean,
I worked with Alan Cumming once, so by association. I was on Instinct. I was like in the cold open, and then I was a dead body later, but they cut the cold open, so I was just a dead body. But I did. This was before I was on Instagram, but he was like, I couldn't move because of the dead body was like posed all artistically with like a, whatever. And so he came over and he was like, I've been doing this thing where I take a picture with a corpse from every episode. Do you mind? I was like, sure. So I did this. So I took a picture. He's like, do you have Instagram? And I was like, I don't. And so it went on his Instagram, and I found it later after I joined Instagram. I was like, did he still have that? But he would have tagged me had I been on social media then, but I did not, and I do not really care.
That's funny. Real quick, I want to get to real quick. Well, hold on, let me see what he says. Oh, so somebody loved your intro for Adrian being Nightcrawler on the intro was a highlight for him. I thought that was a highlight for everybody when they put you on the intro. I was like, yes.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know it was coming.
You did.
No, I
None
didn't.
of us knew.
Like,
I was curious, being that in the original series, it was I don't
Guest
know,
star.
a guest star, a guest star. You weren't in. Did you have any thoughts of like, all right, what's my little opening bit gonna be for Nightcrawler?
I had no idea. I just remember watching that first episode and going, "What?
That's different.
Title card."
Yeah,
And then I did like a little. Then I sort of redid it as like an Instagram story just for fun. And
It's such a kick-ass one too.
oh,
It's not just him like reading the Bible or something.
action Nightcrawler. Action.
Yeah.
Swashbuckling Nightcrawler.
Yeah.
We love it. X-Men was only cartoon my stepfather would watch with me as a kid. And now I get to watch X-Men 97 with my kids. It is the best. Yes, that is true. That is true. We got people talking about what did he say? Playing a dead body is
This is so much more difficult.
Real talk.
real talk. So
I've died at least 10 to 20 times in my career as an actor.
yeah.
Did you then stay for the scene while they had a whole conversation over you?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
happened.
Oh, that's
Breathing in set dust from the ground with a face on the end.
Yeah, my character was supposed to be like a photographer, and so the themed death, or murder or whatever, was like there was a very heavy DSLR camera like on my chest, and they had to have this poor guy. Like they had this guy, it was too complicated a setup for me to go to chairs when it was time for a break. So my breaks, I was just lying there, and they had some guy just hold the weight of this camera up off of my torso for my breaks. It was just like he's just there holding this heavy, like I don't know, 5-pound camera. Or something like that.
jeez.
Anyway,
Would
those
you
dead
do it
bodies,
again?
they work. It's work. Would I do it again? Sure. I need money. There's a dearth of work going on. We will take what bookings we can get.
Dying to living. With an
Dying to living. Yeah.
Dead
I
body.
have always wondered, like, at least for a close-up, when your character has died or something like that. Serious question: you have to hold your breath
Yeah.
for
Can't be breathing.
for however long the shot is, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Hopefully they try not to torture you too much or stretch the limits of human capability, but
Right. Okay.
physicality.
This topic is growing because I got people in the chat team and say, look, we should have a corpse show, but it says I always feel bad when actors playing corpse have to do so with their eyes open.
Yeah.
My eyes start watering in sympathy for them.
Yeah.
I always
At
like
an
to
odd
die with-
angle, upside down. Sorry, go ahead.
No. I always like to die with my eyes open.
All right.
It's in your contract. It's in a rider.
Yeah, right.
My eyes must be open at all times.
All right. So let's get back to the expert real quick. So this one's for you, Holly. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I do want to say we were all talking earlier about like the fandom. That is a fine balancing act, because when it becomes too much like fan service, then the whole thing just becomes like fan fiction, right? Like,
True.
and then that's a trap as well. And so I feel like it takes special skill and restraint to sort of like do all the kick-ass stuff you've been dreaming of since you were 8, but also to not ruin it because you love it so much. That's they deserve props for that too.
No, for sure. I agree. Now, speaking of things that you've been a fan of as a kid, I want to talk about I forgot what it was called. Motendo? Was it Motendo?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I want to talk about Motendo because this show was really cool. Now, I didn't get the video clip for this because I knew I would have gotten copyright flagged for this one because the music was crazy, right? But here you got to meet your formerly, right? We got Allison Court here. How was that being able to kind of be on a show with somebody you grew up watching playing the character that you're playing now? I mean, it's kind of like, it's crazy, right?
Yeah, I mean, I won't belabor it too much because we've talked about this in like interviews and stuff like that. But like it was very moving. So we weren't in the same session. I think they just played. I might have laid down the initial and then they recorded with her and then had me do some ADR. Or I cannot remember if they had her record already in the initial session. I think actually it must have been the other way around, because she mentioned having heard me, having heard my lines and stuff like that. So she's always been very generous and very approving. It's all the on principle, like the whole move had her blessing, but then to have her say complimentary things to indicate that she approved of my work as well, or carrying on the legacy of this character, like that was so meaningful. And of course, like at the drop of the hat, I sobbed at episode 5. I cried when I met Lenore. Of course, I like teared up when I was told that, or when I heard the playback of like, her doing her lines, because everything that she says as Absissa can apply to Alice in court talking to Holly as well. Like hearing that from. But the funny thing is that I'm playing this character, and people will make a lot of this, which is a big deal and super cool. But honestly, Lenore was like my number one from from when I was a kid. It was all about Rogue. I was so obsessed with Rogue, I think whether it was those things about her character that spoke to me, and I'm sure it was also Lenore's performance as well. It's one of those. What do they call it? Core memories about, like, it was just very influential, because it's one of those things that made me kind of conscious as a kid in single digit age, like that voice acting was a job, that it could be something that you could do or would want to do, Right. And I wanted to, as Adrian says, I wanted very much to be the accent guy. And so I imitated Lenore, I imitated Adrian as Nightcrawler, I imitated everybody. I was doing all the stuff. When I was trying to be like a child actor and stuff like that, I put those accents like on the resume without doing research, without actually understanding like those are specific things, like the Cajun. You can't just do an imitation of what you think Gambit sounds like and say that you can do a Cajun accent, So like, as an adult now, after like dialect coaching and stuff like that, first of all, probably a lot of them are a bit rusty, because nobody would ask for accents that weren't Asian accents. They still largely don't. It's getting better, kind of, all of that. I could argue that my career path, as a whole, was hugely influenced by watching this on Saturday mornings.
That's awesome. Listen, this episode was really good, and I like that they paid homage to obviously Allison, right? And Absolutely. The video game, which I still have. I'm looking at it right now. I have the same Sega Genesis game and stuff, but you killed it. And like you said, Lenore too, man. Lenore, just like I said, everybody's just been so good. But it's interesting to see like who, like Guy was a huge fan of Cal Dodd. So when I had him with Cal Dodd on the show, he was like, "You're really gonna put me on with Cal Dodd?" I was like, "Yeah, why?" He's like, "Oh my God, he's my favorite." I was like, "Okay, good, perfect." So it's cool to kind of see who likes who, and that's interesting that you're a big fan of Lenore, but who isn't, right? Lenore's awesome.
Hopefully Emmy winning. Lenore.
I know. I feel like everybody that played a role in that episode period should do it, because should win something, because it was phenomenal. Just the whole thing, the whole thing from start to finish was a roller coaster. So we'll see what happens. But go ahead, Josh. You wanted to show something. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you should also give a shout out to Dave Arago, who played
Mojo.
So just like vocalization.
Yeah.
And it kind of reminded me of Ron Rubin, who was the original Morph created Morph back in the day too. That same kind of like vocal dexterity, which is so wild. And
I would like to see them like in the booth being animated, because I'm sure he was super animated, right?
Oh yeah.
That's cool.
David's also just like in life, he will jump into bits and in and out of stuff.
Nice.
That's his stuff.
Hey, we all love that.
Mojo, you know what I mean?
Right. We all love that. Josh, you wanted to show something, you said?
I wanted to show Adrian something pretty cool. I don't know if you're really familiar with the whole statue game that we're all really involved with here, but Sideshow has a really, really cool Nightcrawler one.
Yeah.
Wow. I have that actually. It's literally my favorite, one of my favorite statues. But this is quarter scale, so it's pretty big. It's about like this big, but it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal.
Definitely one of my favorites from Sideshow.
Mm-hmm.
And this is all the same statue, just from different angles, because it just moves every angle. Wow.
Mm-hmm. And that's another thing you guys are going to be having already. And so I work with a company called Iron Studios, and they actually have the license for X-Men 97 statues. And they've been coming out slowly with, well, actually not slowly. They've pumped out a bunch of characters already, and same thing with Mondo. Mondo had a Jubilee.
Mhm.
See, so we're friends with Mondo too.
They did give me one of those,
Hey.
which I have not opened yet because there's no surface in my house right now. That's good. For that. I will wait until there's room to like open it up and play with it.
Are you a collector at all of this nerdy memorabilia that we all love?
I think I would have been definitely when I was a kid if I had permission to like buy shit, but like as an adult who has moved house so many times, I feel like I have come to understand that like you're very excited about this thing and that it exists. You don't need to have it. And you certainly don't need to pay like $300 for it. Like,
so that Nightcrawler was $700.
Yeah. So like, as you guys know, undoubtedly, like collecting is a very expensive habit. So I'm trying to be very judicious, like about certainly what I spend money on, and then also like what people give me. Like it's very nice of people to like give me stuff. I'm gonna treasure this Mondo Jubilee, but I'm not out here being like, please send me stuff, you know. If you are so inspired, great, but also I don't have like an address or anything for people to send stuff to me, so it's really like at a convention, you know, the circumstances for that too will be for me to acquire stuff, I think will be limited for good reasons, for sane reasons.
Well, listen, then hope not to be around me at any con, because I'm gonna be like, this is for you. This is for you. I tend to hook up my friends with stuff, especially from our sponsors and stuff. But go ahead, Adrian.
No, when I travel, I pack to within an inch of my life carry-on only. So everything is like, so if someone hands me a box that size, it's like it's not getting in there. So,
sorry, I have ways of shipping stuff. You guys aren't. You're not getting out of this one.
Exactly.
Discounts. When I finally met Cal Dodd, I brought him the Mondo Wolverine, and this same shirt. This is from our friends over at White Gold Industries. I saw him at New York Comic Con, and I had like a whole care package for him and his wife. And he's like, "Are you serious?" I was like, "Yeah, bro, just take it. It's for you. You've been doing an amazing job. Here you go. You're welcome." Yeah. And he cracks up all the time. But that definitely don't be around me. But so real quick, I have it's kind of like an off question. This is for Adrian. Go ahead, Josh. You can show this. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but you've actually studied in the UK for quite a while, right?
You did. I lived there for 10 years.
10 years.
Wow.
So for those who don't know, he also played the father of Jean in X-Men 3. I don't know if you guys know that, but that's him right there. Yes. See, got you guys. Miguel does his homework. But my question is, so you and George were actually the only ones who actually got to like cameo in the movies. But for you, I want to talk about this scene, not necessarily the scene, but being in front of Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart. How was that for you? And like, what were you feeling through that? Were you fans of them? I mean, I'm assuming you are. Everybody is, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've been a fan of both of them for years, and being in the UK, I got to see Ian on stage and seen Patrick in many things, and I was also a Star Trek fan. Let's face it. But when I auditioned for it, I got like the 2 or 3 lines. So I'm so distracted by the screen.
You see the resemblance?
Man next to the guy. I just got like a couple lines, and in those days they didn't email them to you or anything. I just had to go in and then get the lines and get there a little early. And I thought, so I got there half an hour early. And it's only like 3 lines. Oh, okay, fine. I just remember having this notion, he's disgusted with his child. Okay, got it. And so that's how I played it. And then I get to the set, and it's just like just massive set, and there's like all the executives and all their assistants are all around this this monitor, And the producer, I think Lauren Shula Donner, I think it was, she says, and the director go, "Do you remember what you did in the audition?" It's like months afterwards. And I went, "Yeah, I think so." And then they said, "Go get Adrian's audition." And they came back, and like seconds later, a PA with this little VHS tape stuck it into the monitor, and they're like, everyone's watching my audition with me there. So and then so I'm sitting there, like it was a long day, and the director liked to get lots and lots and lots of takes. And of course coverage from this angle, coverage from big wide shot, moving cameras this way, and then they're doing, like right on your face. And there I am sitting opposite Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart, and I'm going, this is like, it's what a treat. And at one point, and I've told the story before, forgive me if I'm repeating it, but it's my coverage, and it's take after take after take. And the director goes, just one more. And I think, okay, this is it. I'm messing this up. Well, I don't know what's going on. All actors have this little voice, which is like that little thing. I'm trying to kill you all the time. And he goes, one more. And I'm going, okay. And I look up at Ian McKellen. He goes,
that's cool.
And but he was, and then at the end of every week, Ian, I spent some time with Patrick there. I think my wife at the time and my kid came along, and because my wife is a fan too, so we met Patrick and spent some time. But Ian invited us all to brunch at his apartment on this Sunday shoot.
Oh, wow.
So, I get there and I go up to the top floor. You have to buzz in. You go up to the very, very top floor of the penthouse, and it's like you're looking around, and there's huge actor man, as I called him at the time, with his kids and family, and Sean and a bunch of, and there's Ian in the kitchen with this pan describing how you have to have it on a low heat. And
that's good.
Sibling X in the kitchen.
That was so good.
Sitting next to him and in his apron going, Ian McKellen is making me scrambled eggs. This is
wow.
He's super down to earth, incredibly talented and skilled, and but a wonderful human being. And it was just nice to be in the presence of someone like that.
That is awesome. And
did
you sounded
they know?
just like him.
Yeah, really, that was a great impression.
Ian McKellen made me scrambled eggs. That's really highlight.
Did they know, or did you tell them that you like I'm a part of the X family, the X world?
I didn't make the connection at the time. That's how disparate my brain is. I never made the connection. I just thought it was a completely separate thing, because I do mostly on camera and occasionally theater. And so and that same year I did this main role in The Fog. So I was having a great year as far as but I didn't do any voice that work in that year. And I didn't know. It was only afterwards. For a while I would tell people, I think I'm the only voice actor from the original series. And then I found out about George, and like, oh God, sorry, I owe George a big apology. And incidentally, George, when I watched his Beast, I'm like, all these years later, he's like, his Beast is fresh as a daisy. He's just like, how do you do it? That's incredible. Anyway,
that's an awesome story. That's
cool.
Crazy story. I'm glad I asked that question. That's man, that is cool. And you nailed his voice.
You really did.
So good. All right. So last video that I want to show, and this is one of my favorites as well, because I love tag teams, and like I said, I think they did a lot of that in this series. Is they did a lot of great tag teams, and this is one of them here. So let's watch this real quick. Look at that.
Yeah, this was cool.
And the cool thing about this is that it really showcased Jubilee's power, right? You didn't really see how crazy powerful she is. And of course, they paid homage to the joke, which it's coming up soon, which I thought was amazing. But this is just incredible. Look at that. Come on, man.
What will you do, child? Slay me with the 4th of July?
Haven't heard that one before.
Oh, I love it. So sassy. So sassy. Let's go. That was badass. That was so badass for
But
Jubilee.
this drives me crazy because they have edited it so that her huffing, her heavy breathing is up on the exhale. It's the reverse of what it should be. It's like instead of that's it. I watched it being like, that doesn't look right, and I eventually like went back and I was just like, I think that's why, because it's like,
and you started breathing too. You're like, wait, that's the
yeah, it's the inhale sound on the exhale motion.
Nobody would have known, Holly. Now we all do.
Yeah, now we all know.
Nobody would know why. Nobody would know why, but I guarantee you, I'm not the only one who feels like that's off somehow. You know.
Listen, regardless, though, it was a kick-ass scene. Again, they got to showcase Jubilee's power. She was just straight badass. She had a little bit of a wardrobe change out too, which is kind of cool, right? But
and we see what she learned, the technique that she learned from Absissa, that she was shown what she could do.
Right.
But also in general with this show, I really love that they're showcasing everybody's powers. They're showcasing using everybody to great effect, but also from the first episode, they've done so great about showing like the team fight tactics, right? For lack of better, like those combos. It's clear that they've done drills, that they have been working in the danger room, and they have things that they know what to do. They have executed, they have maneuvers to execute. Yeah, I love the idea that Nightcrawler and Jubilee have something.
Yeah, so how, like being a Nightcrawler fan, when you saw that they were gonna have this tag team moment,
I didn't know they were gonna have that tag team moment. No, I watched it being like, wow! It's great.
That's amazing.
There's a comic book panel. I forget which one it comes from, but I think it is in my collection somewhere, but from like years ago, so I don't remember the context of it. But she's sad about something. Maybe it's like Wolverine leaving, but it's Jubilee like holding a Bamf doll and crying. She's like cuddled up crying, holding this Bamf doll, and then Kitty I think it's either Kitty or somebody comes up saying like Kitty gave me that doll when I was but it's basically like, and then they were like, are you okay? And she's like, shut up, go away, I don't need you, or something like that. But it's that thing of like, they walk away being like, I remember when I was that age, and she's trying to walk that line, trying to always be so grown up, but still she's a kid in so many ways. And anyway, but I feel like Nightcrawler, I love the idea that Nightcrawler and Jubilee have this kind of like, it's not the Wolverine and Jubilee relationship, but like it is its own sort of rapport that they have.
So we have to put it in the air to have somebody make you a stuffy of Nightcrawler.
I'm saying they would do you not like money, Marvel? Like make cookies in the production. It's right there.
Oh man, listen, send me the or I'll try to look it up. But if I have a picture of it, I could probably make that happen somehow. Yeah, I don't know if it'll be licensed for mass production, but
the Bamf doll is canon. Like it's not just in that scene. It's like everywhere. It's like they have it. It's in the.
Then we got to make this happen. We got to make this. I'm gonna look it up a little later on. But listen, guys, that is about cutting it to a little bit close to our time here. What time is it? Yep, we got like another 15 minutes. But I want to first off again congratulate you guys both for being on. Oh wait, I got one more question. I'm so sorry. One question, and because Adrian brought this up earlier, and we were talking about social media and stuff, and I just wanted to say this because again, I'm on social media all the time on my phone. It's just a thing. And I love going to Adrian's page because like he said, and I didn't know he lived on an island. I was going to say, I feel like you live on an island, but like it's refreshing to go to his page because it's so like relaxing. I feel like it's just a relaxing place to go, right? Wherever you're at is a utopia for sure. And you also do poetry and stuff, but like, do you feel like you and Nightcrawler have some sort of similarities when it comes to that like soothing and calmness and like, because like I said, going to your page sometimes I'm just like, wow, this is great. And another thing, do you ever see like orcas and stuff there by any chance? I know that's random. I'm a big animal lover, but
oh yeah, I mean there's a bay that I live very close to that like every now and then they sort of show up and they're searching for salmon and
what?
Yeah, and one of the places that I swim, there's always sea lions out there.
Yeah.
So I'm very conscious of it's their place. You know, we have otters and seals and sea lions and eagles and you know, and I'm very conscious of the danger that they're in. So I spend a lot of my time kind of advocating for, you know, protecting wildlife and protecting forests and things like that. But yeah, that's so. And of course, every now and then I write poetry, which, like an idiot, I put on social media.
No, people love it. People love it. Listen, I love it. I think it's great. I think it's great.
Well, thank you.
He's like, I don't believe you.
I'm serious. It's, you know, like that in terms of similarities, that you know, I'm kind of a melancholic personality, and have, like, you know, and I like living here because I feel very connected with nature, and I have very strong feelings about nature and creation and whatever the creator is. And I think we have that in common, so that when those lines come up, I go, I know what this is about. And
they're natural. Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah, I love that too. Listen,
Very cool.
I'm gonna show up on a boat one day.
Okay.
And no, go ahead. You were gonna say something. Hold on.
Toys.
Yeah, that's exactly where I was going. But hold on. What were you gonna say before that? I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
I just want to say that there's so much, like the Jubilee Nightcrawler connection. You know, that Holly is this really gentle, lovely soul too, and that comes out in her Jubilee.
Yes.
And that the fact that these characters are written with real empathy is such a gift and a wonderful thing. You know, so shout out to all the writers and
for sure. Hold on. Are you crying?
No.
Are you crying? Oh, I thought you were crying because he gave you a compliment.
Nice try. No,
I'm messing with you.
I do
If
cry
she
super
was,
easily,
why would you-
But you know.
No, I was trying to catch her. I know she wasn't
Don't
crying.
put her on the
Did you
big
really
screen.
think that though?
No, I'm messing with you. I was just he made such a nice compliment. I was like, oh, and I was like, are you crying? Because I'm about to cry.
No, I did that after the first time we met.
Okay.
No.
So what I was saying is I'm gonna show up on a boat with this.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah,
Thank you, Mr. Kennedy, my information research department. And this is from X-Men issue 24.
Yeah.
Can you zoom in on that little plushie real quick? Can you see that, or Josh?
It won't let me go any
It
further.
won't. All right, but we see it. But now that I have it, we'll see what happens. But that's awesome.
Yeah, it's the exact scene you were describing. Yeah.
Yeah,
We got to get that plushie
exactly
for you.
that scene.
We got to get you that plushie. But listen, guys, thank you so much for being on. It was absolute pleasure getting to pick your brain and talking about the character and you guys. And I wish you nothing but success going forward. You know, I want 12 more seasons. Like, I just want this to never end. And I think the fans do as well. Before we go, Holly, can you let us know where people could find you? And I know you mentioned it before, but if you want to tell us again, when is your appearance for that signing that you were talking about, or anything else that you want to?
Well, so first of all, happy Pride, everybody! This Sunday, Guy and Christine, who played who plays his mom on the show, and I are going to be riding the Prism Comics car in the LA Pride Parade. If you've seen, I think it's episode 7, where which is sort of Sunspot's like coming out scene to his mom. It's a very pivotal, you know. X-Men's always been coded for you know, people of all kinds to sort of see themselves in the character, but that, you know, this is one of the more obvious parallels, and so I like I feel like a little bit of a poser because I'm not myself queer, but like as an ally, I feel like that scene, you know, stirs up a lot of memories for people who have had to have that moment, and for people who have had that moment in other ways. Maybe it wasn't a literal coming out, but
right.
But anyway, so Pride Parade on Sunday. And then Prism Comics is doing putting on QCon on June 15th. I will be signing there, and JP, who plays Morph, is we're going to do a panel. He might stay for a little bit of signing. I don't know if he's going to stay for the whole day. And then he might stop by, TBD. Oh, and also at that signing, one of my artists for my posters and stuff like that, one of my artists is going to come, and I'll get to meet him, and he might sign, with me for a little bit.
That's awesome.
That's really cool.
So yeah, come out. It's free. I think you just have to pre-register. So QCon June 15th. After that, I think there's talk. So I might do this thing in Oakland. We'll see. And then date TBD. And then also TBD is May. I don't know if I'm allowed to say, actually. There might be a con on the East Coast somewhere. Not New York, sorry, but August 10th, 11th, something like that. So that's in the works. I don't know if that's like 100% yet. And then Erie, Pennsylvania in September. Izzy and I are gonna do that one. For how to find me, I mean, it comes up if you Google me. I have a website that was more for it hasn't really been for X-Men stuff. It's been for like all of my acting work. But it's hollychou.com. And then the only social media I really have, I did get X because Allison Court only uses X. But I would be hard pressed to remember my password to log in right now. But so I think I have an account there. It's Holy Cow Holly Chou because there's a character limit. Whereas on Instagram it's Holy Cow Holly Chou, and Chou is spelled CHOU. And I'm there sometimes, but like I like being a little bit of a ghost, Let's preserve some of the mystery and
respect
romance,
Respect it. Listen, all your links are in the bio. So definitely, give her a follow so you can catch up with her. I hope I meet you guys. That's a goal in person as well. But thank you so much. And again, you've been absolutely killing the role. I hope more for you to come, Holly. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Adrian, same thing with you. Thank you so much, sir, for being on. You are awesome. I wanted to talk more about other things too, like, Assassin's Creed and stuff, but maybe another time. You've been killing it with that too. And Sean's actually drawing a Assassin's Creed piece now. Funny enough.
Just finished it, actually. Just got it scanned this morning.
Nice. But Adrian, you want to let us know any cons or anything you might have coming up? Also, his stuff is in the bio of the video as well.
Yeah, Real Adrian Hough on Instagram. That's my main one. I'm also ADEY800 on X, although I want to call it Twitter. That's Twitter. Anyway. But yeah, I'm there, and I'm doing Nickel City in Buffalo at the end of the month, and I think there's Ocala in
okay,
and then there's what's that in Utah, that city, my brain. Salt Lake. Yeah. Salt Lake. And then I'm going to go visit my kid in Los Angeles after that. So.
Nice. Cool. Nice. All right. Perfect. We have all the links in the bio again, guys, for you guys to follow them. I'm sure you guys are going to see them at cons or any other things. But again, thank you guys. As far as the panel goes, Josh, you got anything last words for us?
No, man. Just appreciate it. Let me jump on as always. Adrian, Holly, it was an honor meeting you guys, getting to talk with you, and this was just a blessing, and I appreciate you guys taking your time out of your day to come hang out with us tonight.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
You guys are awesome. Anthony Kennedy, thank you, brother, for being on and getting me that picture. We're gonna have to make that happen. I'm still gonna make that happen. But Kennedy, thank you, brother, for being on.
Thank you. It's been good. Quick question for Holly and Adrian. You're both in New York.
Ooh.
No.
Neither
of us is in New York.
No. What I meant, this is a whole, because I'm a food guy.
Oh, I see.
You come to New York. What is your go-to place or go-to food?
Good question.
Damn, Holly was like, I got you.
Jake and Dana just went to New York for the Gotham TV Awards. We did not win, but I sent him like a recommends list. So I always go. I'm not a vegan, but this is a vegan restaurant. But they have their fake buffalo wings are famous. Those fake buffalo wings at Red Bamboo.
Was it like cauliflower or something?
No, I think it's like fake meat protein,
Ah,
vital wheat gluten or something like that. And then if it's not that, sorry, you guys at Red Bamboo. But if you're talking like fancy, that's like mid-level. If you're talking like somebody else's pan, one of the Momofuku restaurants probably.
Nice. How about you, Adrian?
Oh gosh, I'd probably just order a pizza somewhere.
Hey, my kind of guy.
Sparrows, right, Adrian? That's the best.
Whoa, easy there.
Look at Danny Lee. Danny Lee's like, ew, fake proteins. Arilla said, come to Texas. That's where she's at.
Actually, I think I can say this. I am going to Midland, Texas in April.
Ooh, there you go.
I think that's signed. So yeah.
Nice. Well, thank you guys. Sean, I know you said you just finished your Assassin's Creed art. What cons do you have coming up?
Yeah, so I'm going to be this upcoming, not the weekend that we're just entering, but the following weekend, I'm going to be in Charlotte, North Carolina, Heroes Con. That's really great convention. And then Adrian, I'll be meeting you at the end of the month. I'll be in Nickel City.
Yeah,
looking forward to it.
You know what that means, right? You gotta make a Nightcrawler piece.
You got like 2 weeks, bro.
You got 2 weeks. Make it happen.
Plenty of time. Don't worry. But yes, Adrian, I will say, since the more cons you're doing, especially any conventions that I'll be at, save some extra room in your suitcase for some gifts. Just planning ahead.
Sean, where will you be coming from?
Brooklyn. I'm in New York.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So yeah, me and Anthony got the hometown New York. I guess I'm more Long Island. Just if you guys ever need a reference for some really strong accents, the two of us are definitely up there.
On the IPA. Also, Cafe Mogador is another good restaurant.
Ooh, nice.
Oh, Anthony, she's pulling up stuff that I don't even know. I live here.
Well, I don't know if they survived the pandemic, but I think they're still there. Cafe Mogador.
All right, I gotta
have to check it out.
Lower East Side. It's really great, like Moroccan food. It's good.
Well, listen, Sean, you got homework. You got to do a Jubilee tag team with Nightcrawler. There you go. Boom. You gotta make it happen.
A lot of stuff is in the works. Yeah. A lot of stuff is in the works.
True story. Before we go, I went with Sean to New York Comic-Con, and as we were setting up his booth, he goes and he starts taking these blankets down. And he took this huge blanket down, and I said this in every show, I swear to God. But he takes this huge blanket off, and it's this huge canvas of Wolverine art that he did. And I just stood there with my jaw dropped. Nobody was there. We were setting up, like it wasn't open. And I was just like, and he turns around, he's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Bro, what? Like, you can't do that." And I was so impressed with, his artwork is phenomenal, but I was so mesmerized by this that I went and grabbed Cal and brought him over to the booth so he could see it. And I'm telling you, he's got some great art stuff. So I really want him to do a Nightcrawler and Jubilee. It'd be pretty cool. Pretty cool.
I would not be mad.
Very generous, Miguel. Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
I gotta promote everybody. You know how it is. You know how it is. But we definitely gotta do that.
Super artist John Carson.
Rose City Comic Con.
Sorry, what am I thinking? I didn't mention SDCC. So some of the legacy cast are doing signing at San Diego Comic Con, and some of the new cast are going to come join them for certain days and stuff like that. So I think so far I'm gonna. Cool. Allison Court is going to be there, and I will be alongside her for the Saturday and for the Sunday after panels and stuff.
Nice. And I will be attending San Diego Comic-Con, so I'll definitely be meeting you guys and whoever else is there, because I will have access to you guys and surprises and stuff. But anyway, I can't say no more. I'm gonna get in trouble. But listen, guys, that concludes our show. We got people saying come to Texas, Portland, Oregon. We got all kinds of stuff in here in the chats. But listen, guys, thank you so much. I don't want to take up more of their time. Next week, there will not be a show because I have to go to Dallas to work there, and then we'll come back the following Friday. But again, thank you, our guests, and we'll catch you guys on another episode of Collectors Assemble Live the following Friday. Thank you, guys, and you two don't go away just yet. We got to talk about something real quick, but thank you, guys, and we'll see you.